We have already mentioned that management can be defined as an intentional action coordinating resources working towards a predefined objective. In this video, we'll talk about project management. Why does one link these two concepts, management and project? Well, a project is generally defined as a plan, an intention of executing a task, or the detailing of an undertaking. We can notice that these three definitions are very much in line with our definition of management. In what project management is different from management without a determined object? A project must have a beginning, middle, and end, and first and foremost, an objective. Managing something with this nature is easier to measure than managing something that does not have a clear objective. One can model several situations in a project format. For example, it's very common to talk about a person's life project. In a much simpler example, we can talk about something prosaic, such as baking a cake. Baking a cake requires some planning, a recipe with ingredients that will be resources, a method, procedures. The actions have a defined order for occurring that, if changed, can alter the result. There is a predefined time for baking it in the oven. That will be the equivalent to a project schedule. And a well-succeeded result is a cake with the expected taste and consistency. Those would be the performance indicators that, despite being somewhat subjective in this example, it's possible to evaluate. Once a given situation is modeled as a project, the project management methods can be applied. The purpose of using this method is 1. Increasing the enterprise's chances of success. 2. Facilitating the project repetition with the same efficiency or even greater due to learning by doing. This will be the equivalent of a productivity increase. 3. Allowing intermediate checkpoints in order to avoid errors or minimize risks. For instance, in the cake example, before starting to mix the ingredients, one should verify if there is an ingredient lacking, thus avoiding to interrupt the project to buy that ingredient or even avoiding the project failure in the case that the ingredient is not available. Usually, it's possible to predict with great accuracy if a project will be well succeeded or not during its execution through the monitoring of the intermediate indicators. Are all the ingredients present? Is the recipe sufficiently clear and detailed? Are the tools required to execute the project working fine? Is the time control properly done? Are risks correctly identified and avoided? In the next videos, we'll talk more about each one of these elements and about how to manage them in order to increase the project success odds. We'll continue in the next video.